met police, this has been the most brutal reaction that we have ever faced. And in the 3 months alone of protests, we lost 70 citizens who were shot point blank by police. That are possibly many more people. Within 3 months than we have ever lost in the last 10 years of demonstration. Surprisingly is that despite that unprecedented levels of brutality, the president and his deputy have lauded the police for doing so and have even said that they are going to protect them should anybody try to make them accountable. The converse of it is that when students and young people in Uasin Gishu said that they were going to demonstrate, unlike the reaction with Azimio, where our call for protest was immediately met with a warning and a cancellation of the demonstration, that did not happen and has not happened when demonstrations are called elsewhere, which makes it very clear that these demonstrations, these actions are aimed at intimidating Azimio. The third issue on human rights is concerning the report that was released the other day by the Independent Medical Legal Unit, in which they have said that in the last 11 months, they have recorded 128 cases of extrajudicial killings, and that they have recorded 482 cases of torture. They say that in those 11 months, the torture cases have doubled. And in a similar time last year, the number of torture cases were 232, which means the Kenya Kwanza regime has possibly now won the highest rate of torture cases that we have seen. Now, in that account, what our prognosis of the future is, I think Kenyans should expect that we are going to face much more brutality. And the reason for that is from the economic picture that we've been given, and what Governor Ruto has told us is that things are going to get worse. But governments that are unable to solve your economic problems, the way they deal with the political consequences of it is to become more brutal. So let us expect that we shall have much more intimidation, there will be much more abuse of rights, there will be increased police brutality, there will be more torture, and invariably many more people will die arising from the failures, economic failures of the Kenya Kwanza government. That is our prognosis on that matter. The second head is on undermining governance. We have seen and we started this regime with a removal of all corruption cases from the people who were close to it. And our submission of it is that there seems to be a very subtle policy of ensuring that the Kenya Kwanza government appoints corrupt individuals in all spheres of government. And if your idea of what you want to do with government is do business, then one of the things you do not want is to have anybody of integrity in a place of responsibility. Which brings us to the second issue, which is the contempt for ethics. And again, Chapter 6 provides for the ethical standards of government, and we have said that the Kenya Kwanza government has no regard to ethics and is totally contemptuous to the issues of public ethics. And we have seen that in the return of the imperial power, or attempt to return the imperial power of the president to pardon people who are convicted of offenses. And we have seen the last pardons that were made were even for people who are known children rapists were given pardon. People who had committed corruption cases were given pardon. And this is one of the things that Azimio will be going to court to challenge for purposes of ensuring that president cannot create impunity by attempting to promise people that the president can forgive you for if you are found guilty of a crime. And we have already seen that being employed where the police are concerned. The third is about the threats to the judiciary. Kenya Kwanza started by appointing the judges who had not been appointed by the previous regime, and also by giving 3 billion shillings to the judiciary as a mark of their commitment to an independent judiciary. Of late, however, we have seen two things. First, the president has openly criticized the judiciary, saying that it is obstructing its development agenda. And the reason for that is that the judiciary has stood against the executive when it has attempted to abuse its powers. And also recently we have seen another attack where the president has said that he's going to take action on corrupt judges. Now, we have a Judicial Service Commission, and it is the Judicial Service Commission that deals with all issues concerning judges. So it is an abuse, a threat to judges and the judiciary for the president to assume the power, or try to assume the power to deal with the judiciary. The third limb under interference with the judiciary is subversion of the course of justice. And this has been because it has emanated from the threats to people who had cases of mumias, who are told that they have to withdraw their cases. That is a denial of access to justice. Access to justice is a constitutional right directly guaranteed by our Constitution 2010.